OK, Michael Portillo?
But the New Testament seems to be very judgmental. I mean, there are the Pharisees, the moneylenders in the temple, the rich men who cannot pass through the eye of a needle. Lots of judgmentalism going on, isn't there?
Well, amongst the people in the New... Well,
No,
of course, they're human beings, yeah.
No,
What are you
but Christ is making that judgment.
Where are you thinking of?
Well...
I mean, he judges the Pharisees, yes, that's exactly what I said.
He judges the
good people.
Drives the moneylenders out of the temple.
So the good
says
people,
that a rich man has
yes.
has less chance than a camel of passing through the eye of a needle.
Yeah.
These are all judgments.
Absolutely, they are. Absolutely.
So in what sense are you saying... I thought you just said that Christ didn't like judgmentalism.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. Is the sin he hates is the self-righteousness of the Pharisees and the people who think they're okay.
Yeah, but he's making a judgment, so it's open.
Yes, he is, but he's God. I mean, he's entitled to.
Oh, but we're not. I thought we were made in his image. No.
Well, yes, Michael, but obviously we're not made in God's image in the sense that we created the world, right? Or died on a cross, or, that's silly.
So we shouldn't judge Pharisees?
Do you want to judge? I mean, I don't think I'm entitled to judge other people, no.
Right. Should Christian churches condemn or condone homosexuality and divorce?
I think we should all be extremely humble about our own, humble about our own sins, and the one thing, as I've said twice, that Jesus condemns, as far as I can see, far more than anything else, is condemning other people. Now, of course, the church is called to witness to the truths in Scripture, so the church has to expand Scripture, and Christians and theologians and clergy and whatever have to say what they think is there, but there are things that are far more important
you
than
know that people in the Catholic Church are being denied communion because they are divorcees. You know that people are being denied admission to the clergy because they're homosexual. Why don't you come clean and state the position? Are these churches wrong to be doing this?
Well, I don't know, to be honest, actually, Michael. I mean, fortunately, I'm not in a position.
You said Jesus didn't care very much about sex.
Not nearly as much as he
sex
cared.
Become so important to churches?
Not nearly as well. That's where I think actually our present Archbishop is so clever, because he is concentrating on the things that are given far more weight in Scripture, such as exploiting people financially and that kind of thing. And I don't think the emphasis... It's not actually the church that puts the emphasis on it. It's the press and the world and the media and, why are you concentrating on that particular...
Well, because it is... I think you're entirely wrong about that. I think a divorcee who is denied communion cares about it very much indeed and doesn't think it's an invention of the press. But is there a difference between fundamental vice and virtue and simply what's fashionable? Because, today it's fashionable not to condemn homosexuality, divorce, cohabitation, single parenthood and all the rest of it. So what are the fundamentals here?
Well, I think it was Hans Kung, the Catholic theologian, who said that every human society has had the same five fundamental moral laws. So, for instance, every single human society has condemned murder. Now, different societies will define murder differently, so that 100 years ago we would shoot deserters and we'd think that was entirely the right thing to do, and now we would think that was a very
homosexuality, divorce, single parenthood, these are not fundamentals?
No. As you've just pointed out. That,
paedophilia?
I don't know, because I'm not a sociologist. I would be surprised if that's a fundamental. Certain forms of sexual
so you can imagine the fashion changing again and paedophilia being accepted.
Oh, of course, yes. It's very easy to imagine that. What is fascinating funnily enough, I think paedophilia probably won't, for the reason that the reason we love to hate paedophilia is most of us are not tempted by paedophilia. So it may go on being something we condemn. But what is much more interesting, Michael, is to second guess what in 50 or 100 years' time, if things reverse. So, for instance, it's possible to imagine that in 100 years' time we might be as shocked by abortion as we are by slavery. How could we have not recognised that? I mean, I don't know that will happen, and I'm not making a moral judgment on it myself, but it's much more interesting to imagine society turning back on itself.